Hey Josh,
What's up?
it's Wednesday, and it was hardware release day. You have three guesses who did the release?
Three? Okay. So Samsung,
No,
Microsoft,
no,
not Sony.
no.
Oh well, that's all three.
There is literally one company that releases whenever, including some random Wednesday.
Is it a software company?
Primarily, yes.
So it's a software company.
Gaming industry,
Gaming industry.
yes.
Not some small indie publisher, right?
No.
Hmm.
Primarily, they deal with distribution of games.
Oh. Is it Valve?
Yes. Cue the music.
Hey guys, welcome to No Talks Allowed. I'm your host Josh today, and today I'm wearing a beautiful white t-shirt because that's seemingly all I ever own. But we have a guy from the future here. His name is Bigpod.
Hello.
Well, you're not actually from the future. You're from the past, as you know, our audience is listening to this. But your shirt does mention the future.
Yes.
All right, Bigpod, we got blindsided today. And I
Yeah.
know we joked about it. We joked about it in the intro, but yes, Valve quite literally dumped on us today. Probably
Yes.
the next $3,000 worth of my money. Just saying right now, because I've already decided I'm buying all of these. As
There
you
is
know,
one piece I'm probably buying, so probably couple of hundred of my euros as well.
yeah. So, Valve has announced new hardware, and we're not talking about like some little simple gadget. We're talking about a whole new Steam machine,
Yes.
a whole new VR headset with a brand new controller that hopefully this time they won't get sued over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's start with the Steam machine.
Yes. Now, the Steam machine is advertised as a gaming console.
Yeah.
We're just going to say this right away. But in reality, it's an x86 PC. So, yes,
Yep.
you done betcha that eventually I'm going to figure out how to install Gen 2 on it.
and Bazite is going on mine probably very quickly.
Yeah. But
So now I just told myself what I'm buying.
yeah.
It's a Steam machine.
Now, of course, this is a little tiny box too, because you know it's designed to fit on your TV console, but unfortunately, it's still slightly taller than like your VCR because you know it's a cube, so it
Yeah.
doesn't fit like nicely in like all of those little cubbies that you know your ancient TV stand would be where you, so it doesn't fit where you would put your VCR or anything like that. Sorry, but
Yeah.
it is still pretty small, and
Yeah, especially compared to Xbox.
yeah, so.
Pro- Footprint is probably the same, just height is different.
Yeah. So, the Steam machine will in fact be running SteamOS because you know they make the
Yes.
operating system, so they might as well make use of it. It's got an AMD CPU with what looks to be a dedicated graphics chip, which is exciting.
Yeah.
Now it might be on the same die as a CPU, but
Probably.
as far as I can tell, there's a very good chance that this thing is probably not going to be like utilizing the CPU to do like a portion of its graphics processing.
Yeah.
Not like how an APU would be done.
Yeah.
Now it does ship multiple USB ports as well as a display port and an HDMI port, and gigabit Ethernet.
Yeah.
Kind of sad that's gigabit. I mean, I'd probably be more
Yeah.
fine with it if it was just like 2.5 gig. But honestly, I think 1 gigabit is going to be perfectly fine for a wired connection. If you want faster, it does
Yeah.
support Wi-Fi 6E, which is theoretically like insanely fast, but of course it is Wi-Fi, so take that with a grain of salt. And this
But
thing.
let's talk more specifics.
Oh yes.
Let's talk more specifics. So the size is 6-inch cube, 6 by 6 by 6 inches. Or if you are challenged in Imperial, like most of us are, we're talking
160
about
millimeters.
yeah, in each direction. It's not a perfect cube, so it's a bit different, width a bit different than height and depth, but it should be about that 160. But more importantly, we should talk about the CPU. It's 6-core, 12-thread Zen 4 CPU. This is actually a pretty powerful machine then.
I mean, yeah, that's a pretty powerful CPU for a gaming machine, because realistically, when it comes to gamings, the CPU doesn't do a terribly huge amount.
Yeah.
Mostly depending on the game, of course, because I know that there's somebody
Yeah.
around here that plays City Skylines, and he sees that CPU go, "Whirr!"
Yeah,
Yeah.
I use that CPU quite a bit.
Yeah.
Especially
But
when I
now,
zoom in, you see all the simulation.
there's kind of a toss-up, because we don't really have like a chip number for it, but it's got a 30-watt
Yeah.
TDP, so that's either a mobile chip or a server chip. I'm leaning more towards like a mobile laptop chip than anything.
Because of the gigahertz, which is 4.8 gigahertz, I'm leaning towards a laptop chip as well. But like the power usage does sound very much like a server chip for that kind of speed. But there aren't many server cores with that kind of low core count or low TDP, because they probably didn't go and buy a fully custom chip with server cores for their essentially game console.
Yeah, and as for the GPU specs, it's not using the latest and greatest GPU technology from AMD. It's actually an RDNA 3 GPU. So this is like previous generation graphics, which is acceptable. It's got 28, they call it 28 CUs, which is compute units. Don't really know what that measure actually means in my head, but
I think that's what each CU is. I don't think it's actually each CU is actually a core. I think each CU is a complex of cores.
yeah. But anyways, like
GPU CUs.
as far as I've been able to tell from like GPU reviewers and everything, this is basically like a 7650 XT GPU, just slightly scaled back, because all the numbers for like that chip generally match this as well, which would kind of fit with like their semi-custom tag that they're labeling this chip with. So
Yeah.
you probably won't be able to play like Cyberpunk at like maximum absolute balls to the walls graphical settings, but you'll be able to get a playable experience out of it, or like probably about 99% of the games that you make use of.
They, based on their reporting, they are probably targeting 4K 60 for most games.
Now
They are equipped with some even more badasser plugs, just 4K 60. But let's be realistic, that GPU probably isn't capable of 4K 60 on some of the high-end games.
which honestly, like they'll have like GPU upscaling, like XeSS or
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah,
FSR.
not FDR, FSR, yes, FSR.
Yeah. I use Intel. It's XeSS in my world.
Yes,
But
I don't use AI upscaling, so I have no idea what the NVIDIA one
yeah.
is called.
Now, obviously the GPU is only an 8 gig card. That's a little on the small size for like 4K, but at the same time,
That is pretty small, yes.
Yeah, but at the same
12
time,
gig would be great, but
at the same time,
I'm
the
gonna-
AI upscaling
I'm
will
gonna be
probably
honest.
help alleviate that.
yeah. And I'm running an 8 gig card. I'm not running 4K, yes, because I don't have 4K screens, but it isn't that even the most demanding games I run don't have the RAM size that is four times smaller than that is more than 4 times smaller. So technically speaking, everything should be loadable in the 8 gigs of RAM.
Yeah,
I rarely use more than 2.
Yeah, the card that's in my system, I'm still using an A770 in my desktop system. I have the B580 in another system right now, but the A770 is a 16 gig card, and I don't think I've ever actually used more than maybe like 5 or 6 gigs. But because I've only got 1080p screens.
Yeah. Well, more importantly, the CPU has 16 gigs of RAM.
That is true.
Attached to it,
Which
is actually pretty good.
It's pretty good. Lighted, you probably won't be able to run like your game at maximum speeds and then have like a Chrome browser running 30 tabs in the background. But hey, this is a game console, not a desktop.
Yeah, but you can have it running in the background if you want.
You could,
as well as your Discord, as well as recording, as well as I don't know, whatever you want. At the end of the day, it's just a SteamOS system.
Yeah, now
it's your Steam Deck with a more powerful GPU CPU inside a box.
That's true. And honestly, there's a good chance we might see a very similar hardware to this in like a Steam Deck too, because we're coming about that time. Now, they only advertise 2 models of the Steam machine. You know, small disk, big disk.
Yeah.
512 gig SSD or 2 terabyte SSD, which
so Josh,
honestly,
which one are you getting?
Honestly, I'm probably gonna get the 512 one because you know I watched a video of a guy tearing this thing apart. It's only 4 screws to get that cover off, and then the chip, and then it's a 22. The only gotcha is that it's a 2230 NVMe slot. So
yeah,
I can't use my 2280s that I have a mass collection of nowadays. I had to get the slightly smaller one, but that's an easy Amazon search.
And guess what? In about a month after release, I bet there'll be a video by Steam or by Valve on how to tear it down.
That is true. Now, here's the best part, right? It's intended to be used with the Steam controller. Do you know what the Steam controller does not use?
No.
Bluetooth. It's an analog 2.4 gigahertz wireless signal that it uses, which the Steam machine has built into it. No dongle required.
Wow.
Now, the best part about this is we don't have to deal with Bluetooth at all, even though it does have a Bluetooth chip in case you want to.
Yeah. I'm seriously thinking about if it is any kind of same price, getting it as my main desktop.
Right?
Yeah. And in their promotional material, they actually have a guy developing a game on it.
Yeah. Now, here's my favorite part, right? It's got an LED strip on it with 17 individually addressable RGB LEDs for system status and customizability. I've been tinkering around way too much with Home Assistant lately. I know the rabbit hole I can get into with this. It's like, hey, let's have the lights blink a certain way when there's system updates available, because you got to remember this is an Arch Linux based system.
Yeah, they actually say customize it.
Yeah, it says customizability. How far can we go? Obviously, we probably can't play Doom on just 17 LEDs, but that doesn't mean that somebody hasn't tried before.
Yes, but they actually say in their promotional material it is a PC. Yes, Steam machine is optimized for gaming, but it's still your PC. Install your own apps or even another operating systems. Who are we to tell you how to use your computer?
Man, Valve is still continuing to be like one of my favorite private companies ever.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, this is SteamOS, so you when you first turn it on, you're going to get presented with that full screen big picture mode window.
Yeah.
In case you ever wanted to look and see what Seamless looks like, it's literally just Steam Big Picture mode. But
It is slightly modified, but
slightly,
like
but it looks
if you
basically
wanna
the
get
same.
like the full experience of it, I think there is Bayside Deck, I believe it's called.
Yeah,
Just install that into a virtual machine. You can see exactly what is the difference.
yeah, and of course, if you decide to use this as a desktop, it does come with KDE Plasma.
Yeah.
Now, there's reasons for that.
Or you can install your own operating system on it.
That's true because it is x86. We should be able to just do that. If not,
Yes.
somebody will figure out how for us. Of course, let's move on from.
I don't think that would be a problem.
No.
They kind of are asking us to do it.
Yeah, they kind of are. So let's move away from the Steam machine here, and let's talk about this new VR headset. Right now,
Yes.
many years ago, Valve came out with another VR headset called the Index, which, to my understanding, is still pretty good. Pretty good. But the problem with the Index is that you can't buy just a headset. You have to buy base stations. At least 2 of them, but I think they recommend 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So front back.
Yeah, and
there is something else that a lot of people don't know. They are actually quite hungry on the USB, so we probably need two USB controllers,
Yep.
or actually or for better yet 4 for
And-
the best usage. That's
And
what I
we're
heard
talking
from
about the
some
USB controller.
really.
We're not talking about hubs. We're talking about the USB controllers that you have to
Yeah.
plug into a PCI Express slot on your computer.
Yes, the actual chips,
Yeah.
the controller chips, and this is what I heard from some like enthusiasts who are like really into VR.
Yeah. Now, they announced the Steam Frame, which is their new VR headset, and
Yeah,
this one's
it's-
actually wireless. But this one has a rather interesting wireless signal because it's not Bluetooth,
Yeah.
it's not RF.
So it's 6 gigahertz. Yeah, it's even higher frequency than 5 gigahertz, which means that it has very problems with walls.
Well, I don't think that's going to be a
And-
problem.
Yes, if you have the machine in the same room. But guess what? Some don't.
That's true. That's
And
true. I
some
certainly
wanna
don't.
walk around with their headset. And in US, you may actually have less problem with your paper walls. On the other hand, that thing will stop any signal of 6 gigahertz range.
Yeah, you and your concrete walls.
Yes. So why they chose 6 gigahertz? Do you know?
Well, the initial assumption is because nobody else is using 6 gigahertz reasonably right now. So
Yes.
there's that early adopter advantage right there. Also, much faster communication speeds because it is that higher frequency.
Yes, it is. You have higher bandwidth, actually lower latency, and it isn't congested. Because who has the latest greatest Wi-Fi at home?
In reality, probably nobody.
let's be honestly, the same people who are gonna probably buy Steam Frame. Let's be honest.
That's true.
Tech enthusiasts.
That's true.
But they probably aren't using it because half of the even newer devices don't come with it. And again, that wall level problem kind of stops. Kind of like a lot of people even disable 6 gigahertz because they have it when they are essentially in the same room, but when they walk out, it just disconnects or it chucks a bit because it does the switch over to 5 gigahertz, and they just do it in the more proper way and just disable 6 gigahertz because it's so problematic with walls.
Yeah. Now,
But it isn't actually as good as you would think it is. Like even 6 gigahertz is as good. That's why they use something called foveated streaming.
yes. Now, in the event that you're ever curious how a VR system works, because maybe you haven't messed around with like VR features on your smartphone, which most smartphones nowadays
Yeah.
you can kind of make use of. But you got to think about it this way, right? You put on the VR headset. It's supposed to take up your entire field of view, and it's
Yeah.
got to draw all of that through your system too, which means that it's
Yes.
probably going to be very, very heavy.
And remember, it is not actually just like 60 frames or something like that. It has to essentially do two square 2060 160 pixel displays, two of them, remember, two of them,
That's true.
at generally anywhere between 72 to 144 frames per second.
Yeah, and you need it to be that fast simply because if it's any lower than that, you actually will physically see like the jerkiness of the frames.
Yes. And more importantly, there cannot be any dips.
Yes.
That's the most important part. There cannot be dips.
Yeah,
Because if there are dips, you're gonna get things like motion sickness, and a lot of people puke then.
Yeah.
That's something you do not want as a VR designer.
No, that is true. So the innovation here is foveated.
Foveated.
Yeah, foveated streaming, which means that hey, we're going to like have a very generalized drawing of everything, except for where you're actually physically pointing your eyeballs, basically like your field of focus, which is basically something similar to like what your eyes actually kind of naturally do.
It's
in case you ever
what
noticed.
eyes do.
Now, what this means is then they only really need to really render like certain portions of the screen, and then they can kind of just not care so much about the rest. So that is
at lower resolution.
Yeah, so that gives you a little bit more overhead on like the rendering. So it makes it a little bit nicer, and probably greatly reduces the hardware tax, which means that that Steam machine might actually be able to do this.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, of course, the VR headset does feature like a built-in audio that is supposedly not terrible, and it's got the weird-looking controllers that are basically associated with any and all VR headsets. If you've never used one. Now,
and one important thing we probably forgot is it is using something called inside-out tracking, so no more need for base stations.
That's true. It's got gyroscopes built into it.
Yeah, and cameras.
Yeah.
So it can detect what's actually happening, see those controllers, how you're throwing them around, and all that.
Yeah. Now.
And it has a battery on the back, which is
true.
great for stability of the head. And most important part, according to them, Steam Frame is a PC.
It is. It's a PC because it runs SteamOS. Now.
Yes.
There's a gotcha here. SteamOS is an Arch Linux based, but this headset is an ARM system.
Yes.
Which makes me wonder.
Specifically,
it
uses a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, which is a phone chip.
Yeah, it's a phone chip, so you probably won't be playing Crysis on your headset. Although, actually, I think Crysis 1 you might be able to get working.
Oh. They are using fax.
Oh, yeah.
So there are many games that will be able to run, even if they are x86 games, on this thing, because they are, after all, using fax. That's, for those who do not know, fax is essentially the translation layer between x86 to ARM, similar to what Rosetta does on macOS. If you heard macOS, people rave about their M1s to M5s now, and how Rosetta is amazing. Even if their systems, their programs aren't ARM, they still work and work so well.
Yeah, that said, just in case they are having a Steam Frame verified program, just like they have for the Steam Deck, because they want people to actually have like a good experience, supposedly.
Yeah.
And of course, they've already got dev kits for this. Already got them.
Yeah.
So if you're a game
Yeah.
developer and you wanted to develop a VR game, contact Valve.
Yeah.
You might have to pay for it, but it is available.
Yeah. Well, Josh,
Oh yes.
based on what you said before, I guess you're buying Steam Frame as well, right?
Well, of course I am. I've already put it.
Interesting.
I've already put all this on my wish list, which means I'll get a notification when it actually becomes available, and maybe another notification when it goes on sale because I've been too lazy to buy it. But
Oh wow.
but one thing I am guaranteed to buy first is the Steam controller. Because I always wanted to get a Steam controller one because of how weird and wild it looks. That's really it. I can find them cheap. I just can't find working ones cheap, and that's been a problem. But
Yeah, and these ones are even. This one is even weirder and wilder.
well, this one actually has buttons.
Yes.
So, yes, there is a new Steam controller. It looks like an original Xbox Chungus controller. Like what they had in the early 2000s. But it does look a little bit more comfortable. But, anyways, this is a wireless controller. It comes with a fancy little wireless transmitter, too, so you plug it into your computer. You gotta remember, this isn't using Bluetooth. This is using its own 2.4 gigahertz protocol. But it does support Bluetooth.
And
it does.
And very interestingly, the cable, the dongle with which you can connect, is also an wireless transmitter and a charging pad at the same time.
Yeah, and the best part about it? It's magnetic.
Yes.
Yes.
And it uses just 3 pogo pins.
Yeah. We're not going to call this MagSafe, but it's very MagSafe inspired.
Yeah.
That said, how well it holds on to it if you're playing it wired, that's subject for debate. But hey, it's always worth trying.
Subject to see.
It's always worth trying, and honestly, this thing's probably going to cost at most maybe $80. That's my assumption. We don't have prices yet, but I'm looking at that now. Here's an exciting part for you, Bigpod, because I know you're a big fan of game controllers, and you're especially a big fan of like these resistive game controllers that experience stick drift within the first 90 days of use.
Right.
Yeah. This guy's using magnetic thumbsticks.
Ooh.
Using TMR technology, which is designed for improved field responsive and long-term reliability, but realistically, this is Hall effect.
Yeah.
We're getting nerdy here. This keyboard that I have, that you guys hear me typing on every now and then, this is a Hall effect keyboard. I love it. This game controller that I have right here, a goalie kick controller, uses Hall effect joysticks. This controller is 4 years old, and I've never had to calibrate it, ever, because every single button is Hall effect. It's great. It's fantastic. I'm a nerd for Hall effect stuff. I am a nerd.
Let's be clear. Only Hall effect things I know are Hall effect thrusters, as found in spacecraft propulsion. So,
well, Bigpod,
yeah,
you're about to experience. If you do some looking around, you're about to experience a whole new accidental passion as you discover that you want this. You want it. Of course, now, Valve did pay for some licensing somewhere here because, it does have rumble motors in it, which is patented, so they're probably paying some royalties. And, of course, they've got buttons on the backside of the controller, too, which is what they got in trouble with last time on the controller. So maybe they either came up with a new solution or, they're paying royalties on that as well.
Yeah.
We'll find out. But it also has the trackpads built into it, too. The same trackpads that are on your Steam Deck. Now, that does make the controller look a little chungus. But
yeah,
it might be worth trying. I know some people who just really love using the trackpads on their Steam Decks. So I'm glad that they're carrying that around. But anyways, it does make use of Steam input too. So if you want to reprogram any of the buttons to do anything else, you can just do that through the Steam graphical interface. Just letting you know.
Yeah.
It really, I'm just really excited about like this announcement here, because uh, if the, I know that Valve produces proprietary equipment, and most generally when you look at like big multi-billion-dollar companies doing something, we always have like a little bit of grain of salt, just a little bit. It's like when Microsoft announces cool new hardware, we go, but what's the cost? What's the cost?
Yeah, yeah,
I I I don't do that with Valve, because it seems like every other year they do something that's just outright amazing. And yes, I'm serious about every other year, because sometimes it takes them a while to do something. But
yeah,
there's also a really big part with this here too, right? They announced 3 pieces of hardware.
yeah.
That's 3. That's important.
Yes.
We never
It
see
is.
3
Yes.
from Valve. Never.
Yeah.
Half-Life 3 confirmed?
Never. I don't know.
You
We'll
don't
see.
know? Okay. Okay. But yeah, I know that some people are probably very, very opinionated on, like battery life, by the way, for the controllers. You're good for 35 hours. Just letting you know.
Nice. Nice.
35 hours, I will probably forget to charge it.
Yes. I was gonna say that's probably enough to forget to
Yep.
charge it.
Yep. And, I'm probably going to get caught up in some, I don't know what games I'm going to play with this controller yet, but some high action game where my controller's going to die on me. I'm going to be upset. Probably. But it is a USB-C cable, and, if all else fails, I do have a 30-foot USB-C cable. It's actually as horrible as you think it is, but it does charge phones. So, Bigpod, let's stop gushing about Valve here, and let's talk about a scary subject here, right?
Yeah.
Data centers are now attracting more investment than basically the oil industry in general,
Oh God.
right?
Like I hear stories from people, mostly on internet, about how everybody nowadays wanna build data center because it's basically, according to them, free real. It's better than real estate.
I mean,
I'm like, oh God. Yes, it is
yeah,
real estate, but the like most of these people don't actually know what you need to build a data center.
yeah. So I live in the farmlands of Ohio, and the number one industry right now, well, there's actually 2 really big industries that are trying to move into the farmlands of Ohio. One is solar panels, and another one is data centers. Uh,
I
I've
have a feeling you're gonna have soon a third one.
Yeah, probably.
Nuclear power stations.
Yeah, we'll find out about that. But anyways, when it comes to data centers, first of all, they like to report about how all the jobs that are going to be coming in, because data center exists in this town now.
Yeah.
Well, when you hear like them talk about those job reports about how they're going to have hundreds of employees, that's only for the construction of the data center, first of all, right?
Yeah.
When the data center is up and running, you probably have more security staff than actual employees, and you probably only have like 20 employees for like 3 shifts of coverage.
Yeah.
So, because
Also, another I just remembered another quote that is like really, really, really scary. I don't remember who said it, but one of the big AI people said that by some year, majority of Earth surface will be covered by data centers.
yeah,
That just makes me feel bad
I don't.
because well, then I think if that happens, and my opinion is if that happens, I'm gonna have enough money to build myself a space station. So
That's
I don't
true.
think it will happen.
Yeah,
But if I do have enough, if it does happen, and I actually have enough money for a space station, I'm gonna have a space station, and I will live on that space station.
I don't know if I'll live on
So
on the space station, but I will come and visit you.
fingers crossed. Well, you probably will have a choice of of a space station or Mars anyway, so or
That
some random other space
yeah,
station.
that's true.
So
That's true.
yeah,
But the fact that we're investing more in data centers than oil is something to be said. Because
that's insane.
how do you move the stuff to build the data center?
Maybe they're doing electric trucks.
But those electric trucks still need grease to lubricate bearings, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I know not all greases are made from oil, but the majority of them are.
Also, they probably have plastic dashboards.
Yeah, they probably have plastic dashboards, which the majority of plastics come from petroleum products, which most petroleum products come
Yes.
from oil.
And that's why plastics are natural material. Correct?
Yes, and not only that, but most plastics are also not just natural, but they're organic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because remember, they are made from dead dinosaur.
More plants than dinosaur, but yeah.
Yes.
But
But yeah, you know what I'm trying to say.
yeah, so I find it kind of amazing, and that kind of just tells you what like kind of market we have in like venture capital nowadays.
Yeah.
Because
It's all
realistically,
AI, AI,
yeah,
AI.
it's AI, or just building infrastructure for cloud.
For AI.
Because there's still a lot of market for the cloud in general as well, not just for
Yes.
AI, but like you got to have somewhere to store those AI models, right?
Let me tell you what I believe will happen in next 20 years. All the actual cloud, the actual, servers for websites and shit, because those will still need to exist, because where will the AI scrape data off, will actually be in the clouds, or more really above the clouds in the 500 by 500 orbit.
That's true. That's true. All right.
I think only data center that will actually be on Earth will be AI data centers, and that just makes me, let's just say, freaking scared for our future and sad.
Yep.
Let's be clear.
I lost your video feed.
But Josh,
Okay, it's back. Okay.
what?
I lost your video
But
feed for a
Josh,
minute there.
oh God, really?
It must be this
Okay.
geothermal storm or whatever. All right.
Yeah,
Go ahead and continue, sir.
geomagnetic storm.
Yeah.
But Josh, what what operating systems will these servers be running?
Well, there's a good chance it's not going to be KDE Linux.
What is KDE Linux?
Well, KDE Linux
Since
is
you
this,
mention it
yeah.
so conveniently.
I know, right? So KDE Linux is this brand new operating system that was produced by KDE, but they're probably not running that on these servers, but they're probably using some form of Unix-like system, so probably FreeBSD.
More likely Ubuntu
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
or custom Linux.
That makes sense because Canonical and Red Hat are going wild with the AI.
Yes, but it probably isn't Arch Linux.
That's
You
true.
know, the operating system that KDE Linux is based on.
Yeah, so speaking of KDE Linux, we should probably talk a little bit about that because
Yeah.
it is a neat idea. Like the whole idea behind what its intended purpose is. KDE Linux is, of course, an operating system built by the KDE team. Now, the KDE team that you might know of is famous for making the Plasma desktop. That's like their one big claim to fame. They have like a couple partnership with notebooks and stuff like that, but KDE Linux is an Arch-based Linux distribution because they can't be different in any other way. Oh wait, maybe this one is different.
Yes.
So,
Yes, it is.
Bigpod, what actually is KDE Linux?
KDE Linux is, as I said, it's a KDE distribution of Linux based on Arch Linux, but with an immutable base.
Oh,
That's the big one.
okay. So this is sounding a lot like SteamOS.
Yes, kind of like it.
Yeah, so
And
let's talk about
they
this
even
here.
go as far as to say that a lot of things that you wanna do, you just cannot do, like on your own machine. You have to work with the community to fix the bugs you find,
Oh, that's
which
true.
doesn't help just you, but helps everyone in the community.
Yeah, so they have they have like a bit of a Q&A thing here going on. Obviously, the very first question is, how is this free? What's the catch? It's a Linux-based distribution, so uh, you and I, Bigpod, we kind of expect it to be free. We'd be
Yes,
questioning if they actually charge money for this, because the next question
something like
is,
that.
who is this for? Uh, there is currently only the testing edition because it's still experimental, but it's for people that love KDE, or you get excited about modern technologies like systemd, mutable OSs, containerized apps, and of course ButterFS. Or you want to participate in KDE's quality assurance process and find issues before everybody else does. Or you're a KDE Plasma developer because, heaven forbid, this is as fresh a Plasma build as you could probably get. Or you just have an NVIDIA card that's less than 6 years old.
Yeah.
Well, in reality, you probably want to be checking all those boxes before you install this,
Yeah,
because
I check too.
because this is an immutable system, more in the immutable side than the other immutable systems, because you literally
Yeah.
cannot install anything natively on this without completely rebuilding the operating system yourself.
Yes. Or using Flatpak, NixOS, or probably Brew,
Yeah, so you have to use like these
maybe.
other packaging systems, of course, like Nix or Brew or Flatpak,
Yeah.
which they do tell you that, hey, if you want to install something, just open Discover. Probably because they're probably
Yeah.
already pointing to FlatHub for you.
Yeah.
And of course, this is supported by funding from the KDE EV Foundation. The financial body behind the KDE project. So if you want to see like this continued development, maybe toss them a couple bucks there. I think they can. I think when you click the donate button over there, they literally ask you where you want your money to go, and just say, "Hey, go to KDE Linux." Because the one thing that KDE Linux the system, the one thing that KDE Linux is for developing the Plasma desktop. So rather than the KDE Plasma team, working across all these various distributions, like Kubuntu or Debian, whatever flavor of the month Plasma edition, respin re-release, or the Arch Linux, or Neil Gampa and the Fedora guys over there, because they're probably the ones that do the most work on KDE outside of the KDE team.
Yeah.
But
Josh,
yeah.
I learned something just
Uh-oh.
reading things.
What's that?
It Apps primarily come from Flatpak and Snap.
Oh, so they got Snap on this.
Yes. And the way they say it is about the whole system is that this shouldn't be considered Arch based, because Arch is simply means to an end, and it doesn't even ship with Pacman.
Oh, it doesn't even have Pac-Man on it. Oh,
Yes,
okay, okay.
doesn't have it on. Yeah, and it uses Flatpak and Snap, but can have other other bits installed as well, including DistroBox and Toolbox, which means you can do your DistroBox stuff.
That's
So
true.
you have traditional package managers inside a container, and Homebrew can be installed to provide traditional package management within your home directory, but you can also use things like systemd extensions, system extensions, to essentially mount additional programs on top. And of course, as always, app images work.
Or, if you're a savage, you can just compile the software yourself and just run it out of your home directory.
Yes.
Because, unlike in NixOS, things should point to appropriate locations.
Yes. exactly.
Now, they do talk a little bit about the architecture of the system. The bootloader is using system deboot. No surprise there.
Of course.
System deboot has been around for a while now, and it integrates with the stuff
It
that they're
works
doing.
just fine.
Yeah, it also just integrates with the stuff that they're doing just almost seamlessly. Root is a read-writable Btrfs volume. Slash user, however, is read-only. And of course, the atomic image-based updates are done simply by swapping out files in slash user, because that's where all of the user space binaries are supposed to be. And it does natively cache like the 5 previous images worth of updates. So if you need the rollback, you got at least 5 other images you can try. To my understanding, it does not do automatic updates, not yet, but they will probably integrate that into the future. But the big thing is that this is Arch Linux based, and because it's running over that image, you shouldn't run into issues. But if you do, just write the bug report, because now it's the developer's issues and not yours.
Yeah.
And here's the big important part. It comes batteries included, which means your drivers should already be on there. That includes NVIDIA.
The newer NVIDIA drivers, yes.
That's true. The newer ones, not the older ones, because we're trying to be in the lead here. We're
not in legal gray area.
Yeah, not in the legal gray area, but they're there. And of course, the only session that's natively supported is Wayland. So sorry, X11 extremist. You should probably be moving on anyway.
Yeah. There are some things that don't work yet, with notable examples being secure boot, manual partitioning, and there's some others, like, for example, you have problems with KDE apps in Flatpak.
That's true, because sometimes Flatpak wants to touch the Flatpak. If you install application system wide, it wants to touch things outside of like the /var directory, but only sometimes.
Yeah.
But most of the times it's really just like changing file permissions and so on. But that can have a thing in with it. Now, they do have some future ideas, such as automatic encryption of all mutable data. So /home, just being encrypted by default. An included recovery partition. So that partition where you can just select like an option from like your bootloader, going like, hey, just reinstall this system from base, just in case. Shouldn't need it, but it'll be there if you ever need it. Automatic user data backup using Btrfs snapshots with a nice graphical user interface similar to like Apple's Time Machine, which I can kind of get behind, because it would be nice to have like a snapshotting system, and Btrfs is amazing for that. The technology is there, but Snapper is a little weird. Time Shift is a little insane for like that use case. So it would be nice to see a better client. And of course, dconf like configuration management, mostly for the enterprises and more professionally managed environments, that leverage the kconfig xt syntax, which is what KDE already uses. They just don't have like a binary system that manages that, like what GNOME has. And of course, better support for Asian dialects, like in CJK fonts and so on, and an app that has a troubleshooting hub. So a graphical window that you can pull up when you're having issues, that just where you just click a button and it rolls back the system or something like that. Now, the big thing is that this is basically like an all-in systemd distribution, right?
Yeah.
They're using as much systemd as they possibly can, because that's less work that KDE actually has to do. I don't blame them for it.
Yeah.
I don't blame them
Yeah.
for it because they're not looking to build a distro. They're looking to build an environment. So it makes sense to not go out and make anything new. Just use what's already there. And honestly, making use of systemd sys update just makes a lot more sense than trying to do something with RPM OS tree because they don't want to have to ship a package manager with this.
Yeah, you actually don't have to today.
Yeah, and the
Because they
big
have things like Bootsy.
yeah the biggest benefit of this is that nobody actually has to know how to use a package manager to develop this. You don't need to learn how to write a deb syntax file, an RPM build file, and so on. You can make a Flatpak reference file if you really want to.
You will still need to learn certain things. Like there still need to be you still need to learn how to write certain style of package. At the end of the day,
that is true.
You have to, whether it is like their internal type of package or I don't know, a Docker file or something. But you have to know how to write something, even if it's just a YAML file.
That's true. Now, the other benefit is because they're going image based, you get to pick how aggressive you want to be with your updates. Because you got to remember, at the end of the day, this is an Arch Linux based system, and Arch Linux is famous for shipping software updates. That's the number one claim to fame of that distribution. So they're advertising that yes, if you want the latest greatest system, you can do that. You can hold back and be a little bit more stable, or you can just go full on no updates if you really want. Now, this is only in the testing phases, so they don't have this implemented yet, as far as I know. But that is a thing that they can advertise, and I can see them doing it. Now, of course, this is also not the only distribution that KDE has ever made, because KDE Neon exists.
Yeah.
Now, Bigpod, have you ever?
What is with Neon?
That is a good question. What is with Neon? So
coming out.
Let's talk about Neon a little bit here, because KDE Neon was what this was many, many years ago. But there's a bunch of gotchas with how KDE Neon's architected. First of all, it's built off of the Ubuntu LTS base, which is great on release day for them. Not so great afterwards, because KDE Neon needs to push the latest and greatest version of Plasma, which means the latest and greatest versions of the Qt stack, which may or may not work with what's available in the Ubuntu repositories.
Yeah, it probably can break quite a bit.
Yeah, so there's very famous dialogues of KDE Neon being a very hard system to develop later on in an LTS cycle, which meant that I think at one point there was only one guy developing the entire distribution left. It got bad because everybody else was just getting burned out because constantly probably troubleshooting Qt Wayland alone was probably one of the more annoying things.
Yeah,
because heaven forbid that Wayland stack, I couldn't see myself keeping up with that. So, Bigpod, how long will it be before you install KDE Linux?
probably never.
Probably never?
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm going to try it at some point. Because, I've been on a KDE kick lately, Bigpod. I have to admit.
Really?
Yeah. I've always been a GNOME guy until about a year ago. Realistically, it took that Plasma 6 release. I don't know what it was about Plasma 6. Maybe the fact that I can wiggle the mouse cursor and it just gradually gets larger and larger and larger and larger, as is something that I just do when I'm just sitting here bored with nothing to do. So I just shake the mouse around and it gets bigger, 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 bigger. I have way too much fun with that. I have too much fun with that. Obviously, during the course of this entire episode, I've been just sitting there doing that as a bit of a fidget. But a lot of the things that KDE has been doing has been actually fairly innovative. And of course, it's KDE Linux, so you have options for all the things. Like, say, if I want to make KDE work pretty much 99% just like GNOME, I can do that. Do I want to do that? No, not really. But I have been on a bit of a KDE kick lately, and I have tossed some money towards the KDE project because I think that they're doing amazing work right now. So I'm probably going to give this distribution a try. Right now, probably not.
Okay.
In the future, probably. But I think we can call that a show here. So, Bigpod.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten an email in a while. It makes me sad.
Yeah.
I don't know if our viewers exist anymore because nobody wants to talk with us. That's really what it is.
Something like that.
They just refuse to go to send us an email to contact@tuxbase.com. I think we just need to come up with like a feedback form or something, I guess that's what we should do, is just like a feedback form. Nobody even talks on like our Discord. They don't go to tuxbase.com/discord and talk with everybody else in there. But
Yeah.
I do know that people are looking at our Patreon though. So patreon.com/notuxallowed. Toss us a couple dollars. Because you got to remember, we're doing this podcast the hard way. We're actually self-hosting basically the entire podcast stack, which gives us the benefits of me telling Bigpod to fuck off whenever I want and not get canceled for it.
Exactly.
No, of course, we've got these wonderful links right here. These are our Fediverse links. I don't know if this image has been updated yet or not, but I'm just mentioning that way we can remember to update that.
Yeah.
And so you can talk to us on our preferred social media platform that is Fediverse enabled. If you do not know what the Fediverse is, think about it. Think about like what Facebook wants to be, but better and actually working.
Yeah.
But of course, Bigpod, that's all the time that we have for this episode. So I will see you another time.
Goodbye.